the name's villain, innocent villain. And if you can tell from that cheesy parody or the fact that I'm wearing this beige suit, I am going to be talking about No Time to Die, the latest installment and final installment in Daniel Craig's run as James Bond. Man, what a ride it's been. I grew up with this guy as James Bond. He was my introduction to the character. I've seen every single film of his, well, James Bond universe, that is, in theaters with my dad. My dad's been a classic fan of James Bond for a long time now, and it was always a good time going to the theater and catching these movies with him. So it's a bit of a bittersweet ending now that he's done as the character. I mean, obviously, there'll be more James Bonds in the future, but it won't be the same. This is the guy I grew up with. It's like how people feel about Tobey Maguire or Spider Man. He's their Spider Man. They grew up with him as the character. But on to the topic of this phenomenal film. Man, there's so much to talk about in this movie, and all of it is just great. I guess I'll start with the script. The script was really good. It is a very funny script that keeps you engaged and on the edge of your seat. There was a lot of fun to be had for both, if you're someone like me who grew up with Daniel Craig as James Bond, or you're someone who grew up with the classic James Bond. They have enough in this movie for everybody. They have the grounded, James Bond take that started off Daniel Craig's run in Casino Royale, and then they have, like the classic cheesy one-liners and the Bond girl, and the classic cars and everything like that. Um, from previous Bond films that maybe your parents grew up or you grew up with. Um, so that was nice to see. The something that I personally love with this movie is the lighting. They have beautiful lighting in this movie for every single scene. Not every single scene, but like there's tons of shots in this movie that just look awesome. I really like the use of the lighting that they had in this movie. Someone who stole the show for me was Ana de Armas. I hope I said her name correctly. She was fantastic. She has a very minor role in the movie, which was upsetting because I wanted to see more of her character. But her and Daniel Craig definitely have incredible chemistry, as shown if you have seen the movie Knives Out. So I really liked her character in this movie, and unfortunately, she wasn't around for too long to really enjoy that. But oh well. Something I'll get into is a while back there was controversy about Lashana's character in the movie, who is 007. Um, it she isn't The movie isn't about her. She is a supporting character. This is very much a James Bond movie. The controversy about her stealing, the role of James Bond in 007 is all just hyperbolic nonsense that didn't turn out to be true. Her character in the movie is very enjoyable. I really liked her in the movie. She did a great job playing 007 and butting heads with James Bond as a character. It was really fun to watch. I definitely enjoyed that. Rami Malek as the main antagonist was awesome. Really enjoyed his character. He, funny enough, isn't in that much of the movie. Like, he's in enough of it that you understand that he's the main character. I mean, not main character, main antagonist, but really the true antagonist is the world ending weapon that they're trying to get in the movie rather than him. But when he is on screen, he is very menacing and intimidating, and I loved it. And there was one moment in the movie where I was just, it's going to be a bit of a sidetrack, but I was like, you know what? I could see this guy as the Joker. That's just how I felt. Like, his character has like that moment that really felt like a DC Joker kind of moment, and I was fine with that. But yeah, his character in the movie was awesome. He was very threatening. If I met this person in person, be a little terrified. Uh, the action in this movie is incredible. It oh you don't know how much I love a movie that has long takes for action, because I truly cannot stand it when a movie has like 10,000 cuts a second because they are filming it with people who either don't know how to do action set pieces, or they're just cutting it because they decided to in the editing room. I just don't understand it. The reason people like action is because they can see it. If you can't see it, if you're having a seizure when you're watching it, it's terrible. But this movie is not one of those cases. It has full blown, long cut action sequences. Every action sequence is very nail biting. It's awesome. Daniel Craig's uh, action sequences both have a good balance between, being like, James Bond, he can take down anybody, and also being like, James Bond still is a person. Like, he can definitely die, and you do feel that, especially in the final action set piece of the movie that takes place on this like spiral staircase. You really feel like he's, although he's extremely skilled, he's got the license to kill, he's 007. You're like, holy crap, this, he could die here. Like, I can't believe this. Like, holy snap. Like, this is extremely tense, and I loved it. The movie opens with an awesome action set piece. If you've seen the trailers, you've probably guessed it. It's, the scene with the Aston Martin, like, out in like the weird mountain range and everything like that. It was awesome. Great. Really loved that scene. This whole movie was incredible to watch. It's just really, it's really sad that like this is the end of Daniel Craig. Like I said, I grew up with him as James Bond. I remember getting excited when I found out they were making a video game based off of his character. I actually bought that game. I don't have it anymore, but I remember I played that a lot. I really enjoyed that game because I just really liked his take on the character of James Bond. I remember like now, granted, this is the one that most people dislike about the Bond franchise, is Quantum of Solace. That movie, there was a torture sequence where Bond was tortured in it, and it just stuck in my head to this day. I just, man, this is the end of an era, and it's really sad to say that. I don't really want to go into any spoilers for this movie, because honestly, this movie's great enough that you don't really need spoilers. I mean, come on, it's James Bond. Everybody knows James Bond is great, and this is another fantastic installment in the James Bond franchise, and a phenomenal conclusion to Daniel Craig's run as James Bond. So just see the movie if you can, be safe and everything like that. That's all I really can tell you to go do. Everyone gave it their all. Like I said, direction is great, acting was great, uh, action set pieces were awesome. This movie is just great all around, and yeah, you just gotta catch it for yourself. And with that, I'll catch you next time.